Martin Luther King Jr. was born into a middle-class family deeply rooted in the Southern Black ministry. His home on Auburn Avenue in Atlanta, buzzing with the energy of thriving Black businesses and churches, provided a nurturing environment for young Martin. At the tender age of 6, Martin faced the harsh sting of segregation. A childhood friendship was cut short solely because of the color of his skin, a painful lesson on the realities of racial prejudice. King Sr., a towering figure in Martin's life, stood against segregation and discrimination, shaping Martin's perspective on racial equality. He witnessed his father's unyielding stand against unfair treatment, a lesson he carried throughout his life. As Martin grew, so did his skills in oration and leadership. In high school, he excelled in public speaking and debate, showcasing his deep interest in history and English. These formative years laid the foundation for his future role as a civil rights leader. At 15, Martin spent a summer in Connecticut. It was his first real encounter with life outside the segregated South. The sight of blacks and whites living together harmoniously was eye-opening and intensified his desire to fight against segregation. In Morehouse College, under the guidance of President Benjamin Mays, Martin's worldview expanded. Mays's advocacy for social action against racial inequality deeply influenced Martin, leading him to choose the ministry as his life's work. At Crozer Theological Seminary, Martin's oratory skills flourished. He delved into Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolence and explored contemporary Protestant theology, laying the groundwork for his future activism. Martin Luther King Jr. met his future wife, Coretta Scott, in Boston in 1952, while he was pursuing his doctoral studies at Boston University. They were introduced by mutual friends, and their connection grew as they became involved in the civil rights movement together. Coretta was a talented singer and shared Martin's passion for social justice. Their shared commitment to the civil rights cause deepened their relationship, and they were married on June 18, 1953 in Marion, Alabama. In the mid-1950s, King rose to prominence. His leadership in the Montgomery bus boycott marked the start of a significant chapter in the civil rights movement. It brought him national attention. King's journey continued as the first president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Here, he became a national figure, steering the direction of the civil rights movement. He faced multiple arrests and constant FBI surveillance. Despite these challenges, his unwavering commitment to nonviolent resistance remained unshaken. King's resilience in the face of adversity served as a beacon of hope for the civil rights movement. His willingness to endure personal sacrifices for the greater good inspired countless others to join the fight for justice and equality. King's transformative visit to India in 1959 deepened his commitment to nonviolent resistance. Inspired by Gandhi's legacy, he embraced the principles of satyagraha and carried them forward in the American civil rights movement, forever linking his struggle for racial equality with the fight for global justice. In 1963, the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom was partly intended to demonstrate mass support for the civil rights legislation proposed by President John F. Kennedy in June. I have a dream. In the last part of his famous speech on August 28, 1963, which most excited the listeners and has now become its most famous, King described his dreams of freedom and equality arising from a land of slavery and hatred. The I Have a Dream speech has transcended generations and is immortal in its own right. In 1964, King's efforts in combating racial inequality through nonviolent resistance were globally recognized when he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. At 35, King became the youngest to receive the Nobel Peace Prize, a testament to his impact in advocating for peace and equality. In his final years, King expanded his focus to include broader issues like poverty and the Vietnam War, showcasing his commitment to justice and equality on multiple fronts. King's final crusade, the Poor People's Campaign, aimed at a national occupation of Washington, D.C., was a bold initiative for economic justice and equality. At 6:05 p.m. on Thursday, the 4th of April, 1968, Martin Luther King was shot dead while standing on a balcony outside his second-floor room at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. News of King's assassination prompted major outbreaks of racial violence, resulting in more than 40 deaths nationwide and extensive property damage in over 100 American cities. There were also major strikes nationwide. James Earl Ray, a 40-year-old escaped fugitive, later confessed to the crime and was sentenced to a 99-year prison term. In honor of his enduring legacy, King was posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom and the Congressional Gold Medal, celebrating his monumental contributions. Throughout his journey, King's voice against injustice echoed, from speeches that moved hearts to arrests that highlighted the struggle for civil rights. Let that sink in. Save this to watch it tomorrow again as a reminder. Subscribe for more such content.